we're taking a look at weapon tuning, specifically some of the findings that True Game Data was able to find. And within the video, he goes over a ton of different details, but specifically about sliders aren't linear. That's the part that was the most interesting to me. And we're not sure exactly what the linear part means. It means that as you adjust this slider for recoil, as you can see right here, and you move it all the way up, you would expect that it would improve recoil. And then as you would go all the way down, it would make recoil worse, which is generally the case, especially when you can see the real examples when you're actually doing that. You get a slight improvement, another slight improvement, another one, and then all of a sudden, the last one, it doesn't do anything after that. So there's certain sliders where maybe you're gonna get incremental gains and it changes depending on where the slider is. And as you can see right here, when we go to the aim down sight speed part of it, you get significant penalty going from about 0.16 ounces all the way to 0.32. You can see the significant jump. It's not like incremental where the line would go straight across and it would end somewhere probably around halfway through this line where you'd have a line that went there. You get a small minor difference and then a huge difference. And this penalty does not correlate to this one on the left. You can see that this one went up a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And this one went down a little bit, and then a huge penalty, then a minor penalty, and it kind of caps out. You can't get any worse because it is bad. And essentially what I did is I modified it incrementally, took screenshots, and then measured the individual pixels, as we can see here, for the recoil change and the handling change, which specifically in that case is aim down sight. And although it's a bunch of numbers, the main thing you want to pay attention to is that these differences over time. So you get a max benefit of 7.4% change in terms of the graph, and versus when we go to the negative, we can get about an 8% difference. So plus or minus 8% when it comes to that attachment. But what we can see here is that for some of these, there's no change at all, while the other one is experiencing changes for the handling. So you kind of got to look at it closely because some will even go backwards and give you negative results. So what this looks like with the tuner, I want you to look closely at this area of this graph. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see specifically what's happening. So if I go all the way to the far right, we can see that recoil pushes out, accuracy goes in. As I go ahead and slide this, if we look close at this accuracy one, we'll see it goes up, and then it down, and then back up a little bit. So right here, you can see that it's going down in that progress. So the same thing that we're seeing here, you might have one where it has a huge jump and then almost nothing. But if you keep going, you're hurting the other attachments. So you kind of got to fine tune these per attachment towards your overall feel and strengths of the weapon. So in this particular case, if I had this at default, I might go ahead and adjust this slider. Okay, and I see I'm getting recoil benefit right here. And as I go, as soon as I get I don't want that penalty. I don't want increased aiming stability, even though if I did, I could just max it out. But right there's kind of where I'm getting the max benefit. You can see recoil doesn't move too much beyond that point. So right around there's where kind of why I would stop that attachment. We can do the same thing for recoil stabilization and aim down sight speed. Obviously, there's a diminishing returns on these. You can see we're not really seeing any penalties at this point. It doesn't even move when we adjust right here, hardly at all. But when we go to aim down sight, you can see the huge jumps there. So you kind of want to find that happy medium where, okay, cool, I got the benefit, and boom, you can see that little drop off there on handling, and you're able to make those adjustments. So this is kind of what you would do. I know it's an overcomplicated system until we get the data mined data from sim.gg, which is the only site that builds the site based off the data mined data. And to my knowledge, they're the only site that have managed to crack the code on data mining, because literally every other site uses their data except for True Game Data. He manually hand tests pretty much everything. So it's kind of weird they threw that in there, but at the end of the day, once you've tuned these things to be as accurate as possible, you can actually be accurate without the full penalty, and you still have a decent aim down sight. It's not horrible, and that's one thing I think a lot of people are doing, is they're continuing to give you that penalty without actually receiving the benefit, because you get diminishing returns where you're still hurting your aim down sight, but you're not actually improving your recoil, and vice versa. You could be improving your aim down sight, but your recoil is getting tanked significantly where it gets really hard to control. So you can kind of see These targets are up to 50 meters, but you can see in the gameplay, I am actually shooting targets at 90 meters and I'm adjusting with strafing. You can kind of see how easy it is to control recoil and focusing on bullet velocity for long range, because that is going to allow you to hit more shots. And especially with how they've designed a lot of the weapons, if you don't have bullet velocity, it's going to be hard to hit targets at range. Even if your gun has absolutely no recoil, it's like the Growl. If it doesn't have enough bullet velocity, it's going to be very tricky to hit your target, regardless how skilled the player is. And this is especially noticeable as people are flying through the sky. Hopefully this helps guide you in the right direction. You're taking a little bit of a closer look when you are using those sliders to fine tune it and not stack penalties unnecessarily. Appreciate all the support on the content. Go show True Game Data's video a little bit of love if you want more in depth on that. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.